So even when she was resigning for breaking the ministerial code, she arguably broke the ministerial code again by lying about why she was resigning for breaking the ministerial code. Johnson lost 2 advisors on the ministerial code. I always get a little bit confused about what exactly. Let's just say ethics advisor, all right? We'll say ethics advisor. Everybody needs an ethics advisor. Ethics advisors are great. So Johnson lost 2, didn't he? He lost Alex Allen because Allen was commissioned to investigate allegations of bullying that had been made against Priti Patel. Allegations that turned out to be completely founded and true, and in normal circumstances that would have involved Priti Patel being removed from the Home Office, but in Boris Johnson's Brexit Britannia it meant not only that she stayed in post but that he sent a WhatsApp message out to all of the gang saying let's form a square around the Pritster. So that's why he resigned. What's the point of having an ethics advisor if I advise you that a minister has behaved unethically and you tear it up and chuck it in the bin? Then he got another one in. There was a bit. I think there was an interregnum, was there? There was a little gap. Then he got another one in called Geit, Geidt, Christopher Geit. He hung around for quite a long time, considering what he had to put up with. That was when the bloke that paid for all the decorating, Johnson claimed he'd lost his WhatsApp messages or he'd lost his phone, so he couldn't remember who it was that he'd be. I mean, just astonishing. And this was, of course, before it emerged that he had put the bloke who helped arrange an £800,000 loan for him into the chairmanship of the BBC. So Lord Geit went and said to a friend, reportedly, you can tell I've been working this weekend, that I'm sick of being lied to, was his reported reason for leaving the role of ethics advisor. Don't think that he got replaced because Johnson was hitting the road not long afterwards, the culmination of various events, peaking with, of course, the revelation that he'd known that bloke was handsy, that he'd known that bloke was routinely accused of inappropriate behaviour towards colleagues, but made him a senior member of the Whip's office anyway. That was actually what did for him. Not, oddly, the Sue Gray report. Everyone likes to pretend in retrospect that somehow the Sue Gray report was what nailed the final nail into the coffin of Boris Johnson's prime ministerial career, but it wasn't. They claimed that was a damp squib. In fact, the phrase damp squib appeared on the front of the Daily Mail. That was an absolute rewriting of history to pretend that the outrage the public felt over the parties actually was enough to get him out of Downing Street. It wasn't. It was the Pincher fella, Pincher by name, Pincher by nature, that did for him finally. But that meant that when Liz Truss came into... Are you still with me at the back? That meant that when Liz Truss came into Downing Street, she didn't have an ethics advisor and she gave very little indication of wanting one. She sort of carried on regardless. Sunak... Oh, no, missed a bit. That meant that she didn't need to ask anybody's advice when Suella Braverman broke the ministerial code. And then I think she lied about it. And I think that if she hadn't gone as quickly as she went, so if Truss hadn't sent her packing as quickly as she did, I think this element of the story would have got rather more attention because she claimed that she'd put her hands up to it and she was the one that brought it to the attention of the Whip's office and she was, embarrassed by this slight mistake in sending something to an ally that should not have been sent on private email addresses and yada, yada, boom. But actually, she sent it by accident to someone completely different. And it was that mistake that led to the Whips finding out, it seems, if you dig into it. So even when she was resigning for breaking the ministerial code, she arguably broke the ministerial code again by lying about why she was resigning for breaking the ministerial code. And then 6 days later, Rishi Sunak, you know him, professionalism, accountability and integrity, that fella, he brought her back. He brought her straight back into the Home Office 6 days later, 6 days after she'd been fired for breaking the ministerial code and, I believe, lying about breaking the ministerial code, which involves breaking the ministerial code again. But he brought her back, and it appears that she has broken the ministerial code again. Now, I've never had a speeding ticket, but I've seen one. I've seen the letter that comes through. It tells you exactly what your options are. It does not say anywhere, oh, and by the way, if you've got an enormous sense of entitlement and you think you're better than ordinary people, you can make some calls, pull some strings, get the civil service involved, sort yourself out with a nice little one-on-one so nobody else need know. Even James Blunt, the world-renowned pop star, did his speed awareness course online and got caught, if you like, by his fellow Is punishees a word? Punishees? Anyway, his fellow speeders. There you go. So that's what's happened here. And then the defence that her, quotes, allies, end quotes, I don't think they could. If they'd said friends, I don't think anyone would have believed it, would they? The friends of Suella Braverman let it be known late yesterday that all she did was ask if it was a thing. But even that is a breach, I would argue, of the ministerial code, because civil servants are there paid by you and me to help government ministers negotiate, navigate, enact legislation. They are not there to help them avoid speeding tickets or even deal with speeding tickets or even anything to do with speeding. It's not their job. It's outrageous. The breach of the ministerial code, if indeed there is found to have been one committed, would involve trying to enlist the civil service, who she spends most of her time slagging off and insulting, calling them a woke blob or whatever it may be, enlisting members of the civil service to deal with her personal life, to deal with her private issues, to deal with, in this case, a speeding fine. Which brings us to the Daily Mirror, who tried to report 6 weeks ago that this speeding fine had been doled out, but her team then denied on 4 separate occasions. There's a transcript in the Mirror today, and that again is problematic because your special advisor, again being a civil servant, lying to the media, unless the Home Secretary had lied to the civil servant and the civil servant was merely repeating the lies. But this is it. So here it goes. So it's completely untrue. She's not been done for speeding. It's completely wrong. Or it's just about the bit about the speed awareness course that's wrong. To which Braverman's aide replied, so what are you asking? Sorry, has she not been done for speeding? And the aide replies, when has she been done for speeding? There's nothing like that. Pardon, when has she been done for speeding? It's nothing like that. So there's nothing like that. When has she been done for speeding? I don't know the exact date. Oh, mate, this is just nonsense, honestly. So you're saying there's absolutely nothing here at all. Where has this actually come from? I don't understand. You know I can't. And the aide says, no, I don't mean that. I don't mean specifics, but it sounds pretty scurrilous that somebody has just made up. So 6 weeks ago, they're telling journalists that it was made up, that there was no speeding ticket. And yesterday it emerges in that bastion of left-wing journalism, the Mail on Sunday or the Sunday Times. I couldn't quite work out which one dropped it first. It emerges that not only was there a speeding ticket, but she tried to enlist the civil service to, what's the word I'm looking for? Facilitate. They like that word, don't they? To facilitate an easier ride. I say this with great amounts of love and affection. If your brain is so boiled that you think Braverman is in any way worthy of being in the Home Office, then you're probably too stupid to realise why this is potentially problematic for her. And I say that with love and affection because if a brain can be boiled, it can be unboiled as well. But if you're so high on the racist rhetoric that she peddles regarding refugees that you have lost the ability to focus clearly, then you're unlikely to recognise the wrong-headedness of her conduct in this case. And that doesn't make for an interesting phone-in. You're going to ring in and tell me that she could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single vote because you're the base. You're the refugee-hating gammon and pineapple party fan who doesn't think she can do anything wrong. And she has dedicated her entire political career to wooing you, one has to presume successfully. Why does Rishi Sunak keep her around? I understand why he put her in post. I think that he had to. I think she delivered the red meat vote, the ERG vote, the boiled brain Brexit bozo vote. That's what she did on the Sunday before he kind of nailed it down. But why does he keep her around now? I mean, the stuff with the boats is disgusting. That NatC conference last week where you had people trivialising the Holocaust and talking about how families should just be one man and one woman and we should all have more children so that we don't have to have so many foreigners living here. That means she turned up there. Lots of Tories just as disgusted as non-Tories by those associations and by what that said. So I saw it reported in one right-wing newspaper as a bid for the leadership before the next election has even been lost. So question number one, civil service experience. What do you make of what she's done? Enlisting civil servants and an aide for advice on a private speed awareness course when she was Attorney General in 2022, not Home Secretary. Sorry, I should have made that clear. Attorney General. But the second question is, why does Rishi Sunak keep Suella Braverman around? Okay? Hit the numbers now, you will get through. 0345 6060 973. So, broad question, what do you make of the speeding story, especially if you've got civil service experience? Bigger question, why does Rishi Sunak keep Suella Braverman around when she is so obviously toxic?